My biggest fear was, not being able to do something that I didn't know what to do, and having a big fear about it. And parkour is all about overcoming fear. And I finally just went out of my way to go for a job and get a job and do something different that I thought I could never be able to do.
Shortly after I started training parkour, I was going to school in Boston, and I was actually a victim of identity theft, and I lost a lot of money, all my savings. So I didn't have any money, I didn't have a place to stay, so I wound up sleeping in my car at night for 3 months heading into the winter. And I would go out at night and I would train parkour, and I think that's the one thing that kept me grounded in that time of my life. It was a really hard time, and I would train every night, and it really kept my mental state in balance.
Think free, live your life. Free your head, free your mind. This life is beautiful, won't you live it? Expose reality. But don't become a nation of sheep. A nation of sheep controlled by a shiny box. Yeah. A nation of sheep controlled by a shiny box. A nation of sheep controlled by a shiny box. Release yourself from this hold.
In the past 3, 4, 5 years, it's spread all over the world because of the internet.
Oddly enough, parkour is a community of people doing something very physical, but they all live online.
Most parkour clubs have websites to coordinate sessions called jams and to find hotspots, share training and fitness tips, and discuss parkour-related issues in online forums. Chris even hosts a radio show addressing parkour's key topics.
What's up, parkour people? It's your host, Chaos, again, another edition of Parkour Radio.
He also donates his time to teach several free classes every week.
Make sure to get on the landing, just 1, 2. Land on 1, then step and go right through the underbar.
I don't mind it becoming popular, but I'd rather see a very slow progression, ideally from person to person, word of mouth, and physical training. That's the best way for someone to learn.
Yeah.
Parkour is done outdoors, I've got the indoor gym class, and that's a nice option, but I'm always trying to get people to take it outdoors. That's where parkour is done.
Though scattered across the planet, the parkour community is rather close-knit. Traceurs often become friends over the internet and visit each other to train. For instance, 100 or so traceurs congregated at the 2007 Colorado National Jam for 4 days of training and hanging out. A big problem I've noticed with parkour is liability concern from home and business owners, security guards, and police.
We've already seen that the cities around the world have not taken too kindly to us on the buildings, cries of trespassing free.
I definitely run into some resistance. I've never been arrested, thankfully.
Getting calls by you guys. Can I ask you, what are you doing?
It's something called parkour.
It's called what?
Parkour.
Okay, and what's that out of? We keep getting calls by jumping off of stuff.
What parkour is, it's moving through your environment, trying to get around. So sort of like using your environment like an obstacle course.
We're here to enjoy our environment. We play around in our environment. We're not here to change it. We're not here to alter it. We want to respect it the way it is. Things sometimes break. We treat surfaces different than other people. If there's a loose brick, we're going to find it. And if we do break something, the responsible thing to do is say, hey, I broke something. What do I need to do to make this right?
Can I give you my name to let us know about the damage? Sure.
As more people around the world start practicing parkour, it's likely that, we'll see more signs that say no parkour here. There'll be more strict rules about not having people jumping on things because of liabilities and who knows what else.
Skate parks are built as much to keep skaters out of the city's way as for the skaters themselves. Will Parkour 2 someday be relegated to man-made parks? Just south of Paris, you'll find the towns of Lys and Ivry. Not only are these the towns where parkour began and home to parkour's iconic Dame du Lac, but many of the sport's originators still live and teach parkour in the area. Some of the founders, four of the Yamakasi, are opening a parkour academy in Ivry. To celebrate, they invited the public to learn parkour in a massive free training session.
The academy is very important because for me, this town is born the practice.
Well, yesterday the city of Ivry and the mayor of Ivry basically endorsed the practice of art de déplacement in Ivry, in France as well, and basically the mayor signed a document saying he would support and they would provide funds for the development of the academy, and that it would help support the growth of the art, publicly and officially, which is a massive step for France. The other thing we announced yesterday at the press conference was the kind of release of the first instructor sort of certification for art de déplacement parkour to be used around the world to create a standard, a benchmark of teaching knowledge, so that people know that when they go to a guy who's got this certification, that he's a good teacher, he's qualified, he's insured, he's endorsed by the founders of the art, and he's well trained, he's got a lot of experience, and also he's a reputable guy and a good teacher, a good person.
Hello. We are here doing crazy stuff, and yes, all the students are really good, and yeah, we continue now doing crazy stuff.
Run, 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 run.
Whoa.
Encore. Allez, c'est parti. Together. Okay.
We invited some representatives from each country.
I come from Paris.
I come from Rome, Italy.
London, England.
Copenhagen, Denmark. Berlin, Germany.
Bordeaux, France. South of France.
Boulder, Colorado, USA.
I'm from Finland, Jyväskylä. It's in the middle part of Finland.
Townsville, North Queensland, Australia.
Every France.
Antwerp, Belgium.
Preston, Lancashire, in England.
I'm from Tours, France.
Castle, Germany.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Milano, North Italy.
They teaching in their country. They have organization. But the thing is, they wanted to know more about how can they practice and how can they teach.
Although parkour is a French word, the Yamakasi and their partners, Parkour Generations, actually call the sport art du déplacement, or ADD for short. Over time, parkour's founders disagreed over the sport's definition, causing it to split into parkour and art du déplacement. ADD translates to the art of motion and adheres to Hebert's ideal, be strong to be useful. As the sport spread, the media and people who have discovered the sport online have found opposing information about what parkour is and perpetuated a confusion of the three terms, parkour, ADD, and freerunning. But now, the Yamakasi are trying to end the confusion.
We just think that it makes more sense to stay together and deliver the same message. Have one method, one word, the same for all of us, and we deliver. I think
for the large audience, parkour is still an underground sport or an underground activity, and this kind of event would show gradually for the big audience that parkour could be something with structure, something is not just jumping around.
At the end of the day, the instructors demonstrated their skills to an enthusiastic crowd. The next day, the Yamakasi held a jam for all the visiting traceurs. Because the Yamakasi are highly fitness-focused, treating ADD as a rigorous discipline similar to martial arts, the day began with an intense instructional workout. Much of the workout focused on quadrupedal movement, which developed strong shoulders, hips, and core, as well as enhancing coordination.
For me, it's very extraordinary to have a lot of people, and the America and the Canadians and the Europeans. This practice is very natural. No use, just to use your body. You don't need something. Just you put your shoes, the pants. Okay, let's go.
The following day, it was up to Paris for more training.
During the long time, the human just use the machines for all the time. Your evolution, it's very boring. You have a lot of people want to learn only the techniques. We want to learn the spirit. We want to learn why we do that. To win the trust in self. We win to pass the problems all your life. Just to win the force to help everybody.
The Yamakasi symbolized this force by adding 1 to their exercises, such as 11 reps instead of 10.
In sports, when we do 11, 21, 51, it's always 1 for family, for friends, for work.
Great Britain was one of the earliest places to adopt parkour. London is home to many traceurs and popular training grounds, like this one in Vauxhall.
Swing.
London is also where Parkour Generations operates their academies, the largest parkour training program in the world. They offer daily indoor and outdoor classes at all levels, like this one.
The idea of an academy is to create places to learn parkour safely with the right method. Parkour is going up worldwide, so yeah, now we are demanding by a lot of countries everywhere, Asia, USA, Europe, and so every time they ask us to do seminars, organize things, bring the knowledge and help them to learn and to teach.
Next we travel up to Derby, England to meet up with Livewire, a creative and adventurous traceur.
I had surgery on both knees and it's so hard, you know. I think for a year and a half it was just depressing, you know, every night. I mean, handstands came because I have so much energy. I mean, I'm not good live wire for no reason, you know. I've got so much energy every day to burn, so without being able to do parkour and that, I just started trying to do parkour on my hands basically, you know. So I just, every day I'd go out training with parkour guys, but I'd just focus on handstands, and I was still breakdancing at the time, so that would help. When I first started training, I was quite scared of heights, and I didn't really try, and the stereotype was always that people jump on rooftops, and I always stayed away from that. But at the same time, it's such a rush, like, to be places you never thought, and you know, the only people that have ever touched it were the people that just built it and then left it, and that's it, and we're on top of that. Like, so every now and then I will go onto rooftops. I'll take my boys from Derby onto rooftops with me, and we'll do little missions from A to B across rooftops, just so we can get comfortable up high. And you can stare at everyone down in the street and not one of them will notice you, because they're all so stuck in their own world. The only time you ever get noticed is by kids who their minds are still sponges and they still walk around the street looking up, Mum, look, like, whereas adults are like, got to get to here, got to get to here. I mean, you even think when you go downtown or when you're in the street, have you ever looked on that roof when you were there?